Listen, you been stressed from work, I'm trying to ease your mind. Medicate your mental, give you peace of mind. We read books to learn the ancient secrets left behind. Manifesting when we smoke. So
Welcome back, everybody, to Grit and Grace podcast, where we have raw, soulful conversations and hold the salmonella. I know it's been a while, but we are back in action. I am your host, Madam Midheaven.
And I am Alice. I must preface this episode with two things. It's been a long week. I was able to do my makeup, but I wasn't able to do my hair.
Honey, it's been a long month.
It's been a very long.
It's a new month, huh? Well, it was a long August.
August was long. So we got on a head rag do-rag thingy, and we did our makeup, and we did some, but I don't have a proper shirt. So before y'all come for me saying my foundation don't match, this part of me never sees the light of day. I always have on a t-shirt.
It's okay.
So it's
90s
lighter
babies.
than my face.
We hoochie babies. It's okay.
What's a hoochie baby?
Born in the 90s, baby. If you're born in the 80s or the 90s, you is a certified hoochie, baby.
But how am I? If I was a hoochie, I would be one color all over, because that would mean I get the same amount of sun everywhere. I'm trying to tell them that I know my foundation color is darker than my chest because this part of me don't get no sun.
She a hoochie in the house. That's what matters.
Oh, 100%. I don't even wear drawers in my house.
Are you supposed to?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I've been waiting for Quee to come back on the podcast because I got to tell her something. But I got to tell her while we recording.
Oh, Lord. I can only imagine what this is about. I will be sure to let her know.
Please.
That her presence is
I love
intently
her.
requested.
I
do
love
too.
her.
Quee be busy, honey. Quee be booked and busy.
I know Quee is booked and busy, but like when it comes to a good heart and a beautiful smile, it don't get no better.
That's true.
And she's so nice. You know, I like nice people.
She's very kind.
She's a kind-hearted person.
Yeah.
We gotta get her back.
Quee been living her best life, but I'm gonna get her back on here, y'all. For y'all that's returning, y'all know who we talking about. Black Girl Broad. Shout out to you. So yes. How you feeling today?
I've had a long week. I Ubered here so that I could be my best self. And I'm ready for us to have just as great of an episode as we had before.
Perfect. Wino. I forgot.
I've already had some wine. I need something a little bit stronger based on the week I've had. And Mercury being in retrograde.
There's plenty tequila
and rum and stuff
over there. So feel free.
Let's do this.
Feel free.
Okay. And I know you ate.
I did.
You went to Cane's.
That's not what I had, though. I just got my tea.
What'd you get?
I just got my tea as normal.
Okay. You want... Okay. No.
So, guys, I have a question for you all. I recently saw a post, or rather, I am included in a group, in a conversational group, and I think there's shot glasses down there. You have to open up the thing. In a group, and there was a photo that was posted in there, and it was from a post on Instagram from a young lady who posted a receipt from a restaurant. I don't remember the name of the restaurant. And the total was like $767. And she said,
damn.
Yes. And she said that, let me read it, because I don't.
I thought they were soft clothes.
I don't want to misread. Okay, so it says, this was a first date I had went on, and I felt this was light, ... The total...
You felt it was light?
Mm-hmm. The total was $766.62. Now... Of course, 20% of that was your service charge.
What the fuck is a service charge?
Like your gratuity. but not gratuity. It's the automatic gratuity that they put on there.
My God.
Anyway, so technically the subtotal was $593 even. Now, the fact that she said she felt that this was light, I was just a little behooved because I'm like,
That's
I
very
felt like
expensive.
there was there was already the attitude and a demeanor behind it that this wasn't anything to her, and especially as a first date.
Like, why does she feel she's entitled to an $800 date from a stranger?
When I can almost guarantee that she don't have that to pay that bill.
Okay.
If the shoe was on the other foot, would she have paid that $800 bill?
And so
And this is a first date. So this is the expectation that you have, and you're saying that, oh, this ain't nothing.
She
What you mean this ain't nothing?
She can't have that expectation.
Apparently
in
she
the real
does.
world.
Apparently she does. As a first date. This tells me that you ain't really with this person or want to be with this person because you fancy them or you like them. Bless you.
Excuse me.
This is giving more so I'm here just for clout and to be doted on and pampered on, but not because I really care or want to be with somebody.
Yeah,
For them.
she shouldn't be dating.
Because there's plenty of other, they could have went to Tex Rose House for all I care. As a first date, y'all need to be talking, communicating, learning each other, having different conversations, something a little light. $800, baby, we both could have caught a flight somewhere and went on vacation. That's not, to me personally, that's not a first date type of thing. I think a first date needs to be very light so you can really, it's no pressure, y'all just show up as yourselves. Go take them out for coffee or something.
and
You know, go bowling.
And so that's that's the point I'm about to make. If you are present as me, as someone who's in a relationship who wants to be generous to my man, and my man is very generous to me,
Sure.
I've paid for a $500-$600 date, right? But I've also been taking on $500-$600 dates.
Yeah, but that's not your first date.
And it's not the first date.
We've been in this thing for a little second now, a little minute now.
And it's what I'm saying,
You
it's
know.
not that you can't do those things, right? That's your person.
Sure.
But for a first date, we don't know anything about each other. Why should either of us have to come up out of our pocket
Yeah.
that much money?
And I also feel like I'm not even just holding her accountable for this too. I'm holding him accountable too because, sir, why would you let anybody come at you on that type of time? And then furthermore, who are you trying to impress? You really sat up here and y'all went to this place.
So it could
you
be a few
agreed
things.
or you asked her whatever. Who are you trying to impress?
But it could be a few things, right? It could be it ain't tricking if you got it. That's one.
You're
right?
a fool.
Okay, so what is $700 to somebody who got billions? Not to say that we don't know who this is because
True.
we don't know who's behind any of this, right?
True.
Even a millionaire, what's $700 to them, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna
Chump
say
change.
chump change. It's not tricking if you got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But chances are that's not the case, and these
Right.
are people who are doing
Common.
well in life,
Yeah.
but not Elon Musk or Kanye well, right? And there's a big difference between Kanye and Elon. But
I
I'm
was
just
just about to
saying.
say, yeah.
But I'm just saying to say like $700 dates. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot wrong. There's a lot wrong. And even if somebody did, because I've gone on some expensive first dates, but
Not $700 worth.
no, I haven't.
Maybe a few hundred, but $700. We
Seven?
real close to. Really, that you rounded up. That was 8.
And there's no telling what she put out to get that. We don't know. All she did was post the receipt. We don't know if she had to take dick in the butt that night.
From that attitude, I don't think she put out anything.
But that's exactly what they would have you think. Thinking that, oh, I'm just so pretty. I'm just so pretty that this nigga spent $800 on me on the first date and I did nothing.
No,
Do
that's
you really
not the-
think men?
No, but I'm saying some people, yes, but in this case, that's not that. She had the attitude of like, all he spent was $800 on me for this first date. Wow, it was that type of attitude and demeanor.
That's terrible.
Not like, oh, this dude took me on an $800 date. It wasn't like that. It was like, this light work. He could do better, huh?
Lord.
As a first date. I'm just saying. So anyway, my question for you guys out there is, oh, you got the cups. That's what I'm talking about.
It's only one shot glass,
Oh,
so we can measure with that and pour into these.
you can eyeball it. Anyway, so my question to you guys
Know how
is,
accurate you like to be, engineer.
what is your standards and expectations for a first date? Is it you want them to go all out, no matter the cost, no budget? Is it cute and light, or is it let's just take a walk in the park or around the neighborhood or something, or just chill and chat? Is it let's just go to the bar and have one drink or two drinks, keeping the budget very low, that type of thing? What is y'all's idea? Well, what do you think is most appropriate for a first date? Because this really had a lot of us on the ground
In a
behooved.
chokehold?
Yes.
Can I please tell you? This is about to go into story time. Can I please tell you one of the best and one of the worst dates I've been on? Mm-hmm. Okay. Story time. So I get to be extra, and this is my favorite. Shot?
Okay.
We don't have to shoot it, but we need to be sipping. It's a Thursday. We do gotta work. I got a 4 a.m. gym session in the morning.
Not 4 a.m.
4 a.m. baby. Oh shit, that's a fat.
That's a fat shot for you, honey. That's good. That's good.
It's all right. There's a few hours between me and the gym, and also hopefully some food in my forecast.
Yeah.
Salud.
My stomach is always actually kind of hungry. Salud. How they say, up, put it down. I can't remember it right now. I only remember it when on the weekend. Sorry, guys.
But we taking a sip. Okay, I'm finna be super messy because don't act like that.
If I'm gonna sip, I like brown.
Same.
You know we do that.
Brown like me. Brown like us.
Okay, so tell us about this messy.
I'm finna be messy because I'm putting names.
Oh, well.
So, because I don't give a damn. I don't even know this man's last name. Anyway. So, this is pandemic. This is 2020, right? I'm still working at the shitty consulting firm on Post Oak. So, I would go to Whole Foods in the morning to get my favorite fruit before going to the shitty consulting firm.
What's your favorite fruit?
It was this was summer, so I was getting plums and like oranges and shit.
I just got some plums too. Anyway, go ahead.
So I was getting my plums every day. I was like, before I go to this job that I really dislike, I need something that's gonna make me happy at lunch. And most of the time it was some type of seasonal fruit. So I'm in there. And then also I had to get my dried pineapple sticks from Whole Foods. And so this dude, he's handsome, you know. He wasn't chocolate though, and you know that's usually a requirement for me. Or not a requirement, but that's really just what I like.
Anyway, go ahead.
It's just what I like. And so, you know, I had to ask him where the dried pineapple sticks was because they moved them.
Okay.
And so he was like, I've been seeing you in here. His name was Ken, right? And he talked like, you know how those fake alpha mall, you know how those.
Well.
Ain't this some shit? Y'all, I just spilled my rum on me.
Some good rum.
Anywho, I'm gonna continue with the story because I can do multiple things at the same time.
But they're not going to be able to hear you.
Yeah. You keep them warm while I get something to wipe things up with.
The alcohol wipes are right there.
The what?
The alcohol wipes are right there
Where?
in your face.
These are they're disinfecting wipes.
The same difference.
Why don't we clean up alcohol with alcohol? Answer me that.
I can't answer that question
Answer
for
me
you.
that. Why would we clean up alcohol with alcohol?
I cannot answer that question
Can
for you.
you fix me another drink, please?
I don't know.
I'm
Don't
clumsy.
sound like you need one.
His name is Ken. He works at Whole Foods. He approaches me. I'm fine by myself. Happy. I'm just trying to get my plums so I don't be so unhappy at work. And my pineapples. My plums and my pineapples. Mind my business. He was like, I think you're beautiful. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. Right? I got starter locks. I ain't feeling like, my most confident. It's a long time ago. He was like, I want to take you out. And I was like, oh, why is that? Right? Because I'm confused. It's early. He was like, I just told you. And in my head, like somebody talking to me like that, I liked it.
Yes, because you have a king for that. Okay.
Yes. So he was like, I just told you, I think you're beautiful. Like, I just told you why I want to take you out. And I was like, direct. And so I was like, I'll think about it. Right? So I think about it, but I have to go get my pineapple and my plums every day. I'm not going to take them home. So he helps me a couple days in a row. And he asked me again. So yeah, fast forward to the date. We planned something. We've been texting. And like that directness is slowly starting to look like something else. Right? So he plans a date. Meet me here. Art Car Museum. Off I-10 and like some street. It's free. Right? Okay. I'm trying to make a long story short, madam.
It's long.
I know you're not talking. I know you're not talking, ma'am. Anywho,
because I'm trying to figure out what's going on in this story.
The entire date was free shit, and with in this date, he
Like free things around the city, events, activities.
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay.
So the Art Car Museum was free, right? And so then we go to the park. But keep in mind, it's summer. I can't imagine who in their right mind would take a date in Houston, Texas to Memorial Hermann in fucking July.
First of all, don't take me nowhere outside during the summer. No, that's not my ministry.
Was there an overcast? Yes, absolutely, there was an overcast.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So as soon as he sees me, he has an issue with what I have on because I wore shorts and a V-neck. So
what was his issue with that?
He had on like a button-down denim shirt and black jeans. But it's just like, sir, you look hot and
Houston,
not
Texas?
in a good way.
In the peak of the summer?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Brave. I'm a normal person with shorts and a V-neck, and he thinks I dress down.
That's serial killer activities.
So within the first hour of this date, he asked me what did I want with him. Like, I asked him out. Then he tried to ask me to sit in his lap. And then he was like, well, if you just wanted to have sex with me, we would have fucked by now. And just like, sir, you asked me out and you followed up. And then you bringing me on hot dates like it's hot outside. Not like we're having a hot date, like it's hot, it's humid outside, and we're at Memorial Hermann Park, and you're asking me why I don't want to sit in your lap. There's a lot of sweat on the back of my thighs, and I think you kind of creep.
Like that. And you got on jeans, that's gonna make me
and
hotter.
So arrogant, right? Like he thought he was hot shit. He was like, you didn't put any effort. And so at this point, I'm fucking with him because I like to fuck with people. Like I could tell he ain't all up there. But I can also tell that he thinks he's a alpha male. So at this point,
similar to my last date.
Yes. Yes. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. So as we're walking, I'm just getting him to tell on himself. Like, because we're at Memorial Park now, right? There's no way in hell I'm going anywhere with him but back to my car. Right? So we're talking, and he was like, I just want to show you my favorite spot in the park. And I'm like, it's on the way to the car. So, okay. So we go. And it's the jungle gym part of Memorial Herman, which I'm sure there are several like jungle gym areas, right? This motherfucker pulls out a picture of himself. He says, come stand like stand next to me, but like so we could both see his phone. And so we're looking at it, right? And then he shows it up there, and he shows, that's me at the exact same jungle gym, but probably like 20 or 25 years earlier.
So when he was a child.
When he was a child, and he thought that I would want to see it.
Well, it sounds like he wanted to
After
share
he already
an intimate
propositioned me for sex and said that I should have been sitting on his lap and criticized my dressing and took me to a free date, which really wasn't a problem, right? Had he had a character of content and not bullshit, I wouldn't have cared about the date. I would have roasted him about it later, like, oh my God, you had me out in the heat. But you're a nice person. Mm-hmm. You're a shitty person, and it was a bad date. So let's just say he had a lot of money, and he spent a lot of money, but he was also a shitty person. I would have felt like I got compensated for my time, because at this point, this was a waste of time. I said yes, and I regret it. I'm plotting on how to get away from you. I'm Googling. I'm trying to.
So how did you get away?
I Ubered back to my car. He was like, why you don't want to sit in my lap? And I was like, because this is our first date and it's hot outside and I don't know you. He was like, well, I'm just trying to figure out what you want, because if you just wanted to have sex, we would have fucked by now.
Sounds like he was telling you what he wanted. That's normally what people do.
And I'm sure that is what he wanted, but it's just like, why do you think, first of all, he wasn't even fine enough to be talking to me like that.
Oh, Lord.
He wasn't. Like, that's big dick. I got it like that energy. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And even when they got it like that, you can't say it. You can't say it, right? Men who really do have it like that don't flex.
Yeah.
You see? And it was just so.
And it's funny that you say that, because I was talking to a friend who I'm not going to name just because I don't know if they want to be named, but you know who they are. And she was saying how she likes when guys.
Did you get it?
I don't know. She likes when guys peacock. That's what we call it. When they peacock.
When they show their colors.
They flaunting. Yeah. They flaunting, bossing and flossing. Or wannabe. And I say, it's such a turnoff to me and for me, because I'm not really a flashy person. And when I see other people, like, I'm flashy, but not in a insecure way. So when I see people that are super flashy and trying to gather all this attention and stuff like that around them or from other people, it screams to me, most of them, not all of them, but most of them, it screams to me like, hey, I'm insecure. I need attention because I lack attention or lacked attention at one point in my life. And so I have developed this conditioning that I have to do X, Y, and Z in order for people to like me or to pay attention to me.
What did Kanye say? Even if you in a Benz, you still a nigga in a coupe.
Hello. So I'm not one that likes people that peacock like that. Now, if you naturally peacock because you just got it like that, you don't have to put any effort into it, that's different. But you can, and I say that because you can tell the difference from,
because some people just got the fucking sauce.
Hard. Right. When you
some
got
people
the
just
sauce,
got
you
it.
got the sauce. And that's why I said, like, I'm not one that peacock, but if I step, I step.
No, I like to tell people, like, I look how I look 99% of the time, but when I put that shit on,
I put it on.
I put it on.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I think peacocking could be in multiple ways. And I like it when men peacock in a different way. And the way that I like when men peacock is when they show their colors. When you don't have to ask a man what they would rather do because they're already doing it. And it's just like, cool, perfect. I get to witness you in your natural state.
And that's a more secure peacocking, right? But my concern with that and what I was telling her is this is an issue when it comes to dating, because this is the vibration that you're putting out. And then you wonder why you have certain types of guys or whatever attracted to you and trying to holler at you, or you're attracted to them, and then you find out that they ain't really about nothing and they just, that's all they got is to peacock, and they got terrible spirits and so on and so forth, right? Well, you have to think about, and so I said all that to say to go into this next whatever. You have to kind of evaluate, I guess, what it is that you're really quote unquote liking or asking for, because that's also what you're attracting to yourself. And it's kind of backwards to be like, oh, I don't understand why I just keep getting these guys that just want to lay me down, or they don't really want to, you know, be with me or date me that I would. If that's how you're presenting yourself, that's just an example, right? Random example. But if that's how you're presenting yourself, what do you expect?
Also, while we're on that point, you never attract what you want, you attract what you are.
Exactly. And that's why I tell people you can't hide from what you are, because you're going to naturally attract it. Vibration does not lie. And if we're all energetic beings, which we are, right, this is why you attract what you are versus what your mouth is saying you are. Mm-hmm. Your mouth is real deceptive.
And I'm going to say this because I can. If you are not in a good spot in your life, don't even entertain dating, because I know what I am and who I am. And at one point I attracted somebody that was who I am and what I was of the time, even though I wasn't looking. And what I mean by that was, like, the time I met somebody, I was grieving, I was depressed, I was in a bad place,
Understood.
Right? And this person, like, normally, you know how bubbly I am and just, like, life. This person was not those things. And so I was like, well, I know that you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. And I was like, oh, during the time that I met this person, I was not in a good place. I was mentally, emotionally, physically, I was not in a good place. So if you are if you say, oh, I'm gonna take a break so I can focus on myself, take the fucking break.
Yeah.
I don't care if you meet somebody who's fine, as hot as the sun, take a break. You're not ready.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so funny that you say that too, because within that group that I was talking about earlier, there was a young lady in there, and she asked a question about what she should do in regards to this guy that she's been talking to. But as we started to get more details, I'm like, hold on, sister, hold on, pump the brakes. So, and of course, not dropping any names, but she's going through a divorce. She's been separated from her soon-to-be ex-husband for like a year. However, since that separation, she's been dating or talking to this guy who is a childhood friend from, I think, high school. And she says that being with him or dating him, she realized that she never loved her husband, but she loves this guy. And I said, what brought you to that realization? Because I genuinely wanted to know, y'all. I genuinely wanted to know. And she said the way he makes her feel. And
He probably
how he
pours
shows
into
up
her.
and pours up. But hold on. All those things, right? But she says it's just this one thing. So everybody in the group is like, okay, what's up?
What's the one thing?
Well, he's not financially stable. Like, he doesn't have a job and da-da-da. Now, get this. So I'm trying to find out more information before I do what you did. And so, you know, she expressed what was going on, what he told her what was going on as far as his financial situation and whatnot. And I bring all this up not to talk about her, but to make a point that because essentially she was trying to make him to be somebody that he's not ready to be. Right? And so I say that to make the point, you can't force somebody into being a certain way or being a certain person. And you also can't sit up here and lie to yourself, back to what we were just talking about. You can't sit up here and lie to yourself about what's in front of you, because again, you are attracting what you are.
People lie to themselves
regardless
all the time.
of what your mouth say, regardless of what you think you are. What you really are is what you're attracting, and what you're attracting is this low vibrational man. Well, he says that he's going to take care of this. He's going to, okay, that's potential. We want potential. Is he taking the steps himself to get up and get a job or to start his own business or whatever it is financially? No. So, baby, you riding off of hopes and dreams and thrills. Right? And so I had to tell somebody today, again in this same group, like, people really sit up here and lie to themselves all day long and they be blissfully aloof. You know? So I just want us to have better standards and requirements for dating, because, and I'm not saying everybody got to have it all together, but you need to have some foundationals, right? The basics. Can you take care of yourself? Can you get yourself from A to point A to point B, right? Can you take care of you alone? If you can take care of you, then you in a decent place. I ain't saying you got necessarily take care of me. We'll get to that point if we get to that point. But you at least minimally need to be able to take care of you and your responsibilities. And if you can't do that, you're not ready to be out there trying to holler at somebody. That should be the furthest thing from your mind.
I agree.
I'm just saying.
I agree.
I'm just saying.
I'm not taking care of nobody.
And I think that's why here lately a lot of women have been saying that guys are becoming very sassy, because there are a lot of guys out here that's kind of putting out the expectation of you as a woman or my woman, you should be able to hold me down and
Boy, fuck you. Boy, fuck you. First of all.
Blessed be the name.
First of all, I think that you and I are both quality
women,
right? And when I say quality, I mean not in the sense of how Kevin Samuels would define quality.
Please.
God bless his
Right.
soul. I mean quality in the sense that we are loving and our intention is to love and be loved, right?
Sure.
That's your intention. That's my intention when I'm with somebody, right? To love and be loved. take care of you. I'm not taking care of nobody that can't take care of themselves, because I'm not nobody's fucking mama. And the thing is, I have been people's mothers when I ain't pushed nobody out my vagina. And so I'm not taking care of nobody.
Yeah, I'm not have any
taking
children.
care of grown ass man who is not taking care of me. And when I say that, like, if I'm taking care of you, I need to be taken care of in exchange.
Yeah, it needs to be reciprocal.
It needs to be reciprocal. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, and doing my girlfriend duties or whatever I am to you.
I'm glad you said that. Do you think that there's a difference between girlfriend duties and wifely duties? Because and I asked that just came to my mind and I want y'all to answer this out there too. Is there a difference between wifely duties and girlfriend duties? Because these days, and boyfriend duties and husband duties, because these days I've seen where the girlfriend and the wife, or the husband and the boyfriend duties, they tend to blur together.
I'm gonna call myself out because I'm a hypocrite for this one.
I know.
I'm gonna call myself out, but I'm explain.
Because she do all the things.
I'm gonna explain. Because I'm a very loving person, and I think who I am, men are like, or a lot of the things that I do would constitute me. Oh, that's wifey shit, right? Mm-hmm. But in my head, is not wifey shit. I'm doing this for somebody that I love, and I want like some of the same shit done for me. Why did like do that? You saw that? But anyway, so like in my head, I'll be like, I would want the same type of treatment. In my head, it's not, oh, I'm acting like a wife. I'm being generous to somebody that I love.
So I guess the question should be, guys, in a relationship that's not a marriage, where is the cap until it is a marriage? Where is the cap when it's just, hey, we boyfriend, we girlfriend?
But I would love to,
because previously we did talk about this
exactly.
Where girlfriend and boyfriend is really just a social construct. It's not a law or even biblically law or nothing. Only thing that's biblically law technically or whatever
is marriage.
So with girlfriend and boyfriend being a more of a social term and construct.
But we said that is basically the preview. What you do, why do we rehearse?
One band,
one sound. Why do we rehearse? So if you don't take this relationship, our trial run, seriously, you're not going to take a marriage seriously.
Right. But we didn't get into what does that look like exactly.
What? Okay.
And that's why I said, how far do you go before it's like, okay, nah, I'm only doing that if I'm married.
Personally, when it comes to serving, and when I say serving, I mean like I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm running bath water, I'm like making my man feel special or loved or whatever. I'm gonna do that, but we don't live together. I'm not doing that every day.
So somebody could say, well, dang. Okay, well, let me ask you this. If that's the case, say, you with a man and you do all these things, is the expectation one day, okay, let's get married and we do live together? Yes or no?
And if we do live together, I got expectations of you too.
I know, but that's not my question.
Right.
It's just yes or no.
Right. Wait. Ask the question.
At some point, you're doing all these things as a girlfriend and you're not living together. That was the difference, right? So at some point, the next step would be, or the next expectation of a step would be, okay, we get married and we do live together, right? Okay. So my next question to that then would be,
he shouldn't be surprised by anything I'm doing. Like, if we were living together, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, and we living together and we married, it shouldn't be a surprise in either direction. Being like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so many new things, or oh my God, like, what?
But I guess I would then wonder, like many other people, I'm thinking more so probably from the male perspective, why buy the collar if I'm already getting the milk for free?
Excellent. Because let's unpack that, right?
Yes.
Let's unpack that.
Cheers.
It goes back to what is your view or what is your stance on marriage? And I think in today's, and it probably has always been, because there was a need for it, women have a higher value on marriage. But I think in this time, this is one of the first times where women are like, I'm actually okay if I don't get married. Because I can't provide for myself. I can't have a bank account by myself. I can't own property and land and take care of myself by myself. Like, there are not as many benefits to getting married as there was before, because it was almost like you were a second-class citizen and you became a first-class citizen if you got married, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody.
So what would be the benefit now of getting married is my next question.
It's a tax break. It's a fucking tax break.
And this is why
I
said to somebody that marriage is really just a bit, it's always been, but it's just a business contract, honestly. And that's why I understand it. I understand when certain couples, and it's more than few, right? Certain couples decide, I don't want to file nothing with the court. I don't want to file anything in the county or whatever. We can just go have a ceremony or whatever, a commencement or whatever between us two and our family, and that's that. Because they feel that I don't want the state or the feds or the law in the middle of my marriage. Because essentially, that's what you signing up for when you do that.
But that's just making sure that people are taken care of, right? And I also would like to highlight, and I don't know how true this is, but I have friends who have been deployed to Korea, Japan, and stuff like that. They're American, right? Obviously. And they encounter women who are just like, I just want the baby. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a thing where outside of America or it may be a thing, but it's not a thing where men make babies that they don't take care of. So like the child support, I'm gonna drag you to court, that kind of stuff. I think that's an American thing.
I think so too.
I think most, like, outside of our culture and stuff, men don't be going around making babies that they have no intention of taking care of or just abandoning. But that's just one aspect of it, right? Because we're talking about marriage and long-term commitments. When the government and things start,
I don't think we can necessarily say that though.
What?
Because when I think about like African cultures, and I'm talking like really like Africa, the continent. A lot of men have several children. Matter of fact, I knew a guy I used to work with years ago, probably in 2018. He was Kenyan. And after talking to him for a while, I found out that he had a son, and he was like, "Oh, well, I don't really know anything about him or anything. The woman, she just wanted to have a baby." So it's a real thing over there too, and he was like, "Well, yeah, we're allowed." And I'm like, "Huh?" He was like, "Yeah, you're allowed to just have a baby. You see the kid once or twice out of their life, or once they get older, if they want to know you or meet you, then yeah, that's the thing. They have lots of children, and don't know some of them. The expectation over there is that the woman is taking care of the children.
But that's an edge case. That's an edge case where it's just like, oh, I want to have kids. I just want children. I don't really need you. I just need your DNA.
But even the ones that get married, they have children with that wife. Then they go take another wife.
Right, but they're not taking care of them kids by themselves financially.
No.
That's never the case. And that's what it is here. Like, when men leave, they leave. And so
financially too, I see what you're saying.
And
Yeah.
so in this paradigm, or in our thing, like the marriage and having the government involved is to make sure I don't get left high and dry. Mm-hmm. But if you're two complete whole people and come together, y'all all got your own shit.
It shouldn't matter. You shouldn't need that. And this is a conversation too that I was having with another guy friend last week, maybe. And we have this system set up, and it was set up for that. However, I see a lot of women who use it as a weapon against men. You know, they use these children as weapons against men, or they use the children as a pawn against these men or whatever. And the men do it to the women too, whatever. It goes both ways. For control and to hurt the other person and to just get a bag. And that's where the system becomes an issue as well.
So you remember when I said at the beginning, quality is defined by intention? Mm-hmm. I would have no intention of making a baby or even putting myself in a position to have an unexpected baby that I cannot take care of emotionally, physically, nor with a man that is going to be present and that can also provide physically, emotionally for the baby.
These folks ain't out here thinking about that. They just laying them low and spreading them wide.
And that's the problem. I don't think
they not even mentally, spiritually, emotionally together.
No, of course not. But I know for a fact that it is not lightly to raise another being or to even bring another being into the world. And I'm not doing that until I decide. It's not going to be like, oh, this was an accident. Mm-hmm. No.
Or whoopsies, baby.
Whoops. And not saying that those babies should not be loved, because they should, right? I think every life that's brought into the world should be loved or given the opportunity to be loved. But I'm not going to be having those kind of slip-ups because I know what the repercussions are. I'm not going to bring a child into the world until I'm sure that I can.
You can support it.
Provide. And providing is more than food,
and that's what I was just about to say.
Clothes, and shelter. I can provide all of that. Like when people be like, oh, I want to marry me a rich nigga. I am the rich nigga. And I'm not saying that like I got all that money meaning that I'm very confident in my ability to go out and fucking get it. Right? I would never worry about my child having the physical things that they need. They will always have that if I were to have children.
Right.
That's just...
But would they have the emotional support, the mental support, the spiritual support?
The safety.
The safety, yeah. And that's what I think is being left behind and not being thought about. And it's being left behind even from our parents and their parents.
But that's insult to injury. Because now...
But back then, that's all that... When it came to providing for a child, what that consisted of was literally just, do you got food and clothes and a roof over your head? And that's why they say, well, I provided for you, I made sure you had, okay, but emotionally I had no support, and that's why you see a lot of people, adults, saying, well, my mama, my daddy never hugged me or told me they loved me or even asked how my day at school was.
And
that's
the little made
things.
A lot of fucked up adults.
Exactly. And this is why the cycle just keeps going and going and going. And this is one of the big reasons why I started this podcast, because I'm like, it has to stop with us.
We need y'all to realize, when you, even if you think, oh, I'm okay, I can raise a child, I want you to be very, very...
Be realistic.
No. Don't even be realistic. Be critical of yourself. Doubt yourself. And the reason I'm saying doubt yourself is because it's the people who think they got it that are having children and traumatizing the fuck out of them. They're like, oh, I could be great.
Well, I wouldn't say doubt yourself. I would say question yourself.
There we go. That's a better response.
I think that's a better
question.
Better
question
word.
Your intent for why you want to have children. Please. If we could just get people to stop having children by accident.
And stop having children as a means to keep or control somebody.
Oh, no.
And that's on the man and the women's side. She gonna have this baby to try to trap him. He gonna try to intentionally impregnate her.
People still do that?
Yes.
Why?
The same reason why people get killed when they say, I don't want to be with you no more. Well, if I can't have you, can't nobody have you.
A baby don't stop nobody from having me.
For whatever reason, these people out here think that once you have a baby with them, that your life does not go on. Your life goes on. You just have a child now that you include in everything that you do. And it don't stop with you if I don't want it to.
And that don't necessarily just mean because we had a child together that I love you. Just like I said earlier before, boy, fuck you. And say it again. Because me and this baby, what did Beyonce?
We gonna be all right.
Exactly. Me and my baby. What did Beyonce say? Me and my babies, we gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Same. Just because we have a child together don't mean I love you.
And I will say that.
Even though we should.
I will piggyback off of that. Just because you have a child with somebody, it does not mean that you have to stay with that person for the betterment of that child, because 98% of the time it's detrimental to the child. And I know that we have been conditioned to believe and think that, oh, I have to put the child first. That is so backwards, and I don't care what nobody say. It is so backwards, because if mama ain't good or if daddy ain't good, you have nothing to really show up and give to that child to make sure that child is good. So at that point, you just giving that child empty hope and promises when you are doing something for that child and they don't respond the way you want them to respond or react the way you want them to react. You take it out on them because you're not doing it from a place of wholeness out of self. You're doing it from a place of desperation, exhaustion, fear, longing, so on and so forth. It's not coming from a full and a whole place. That's the difference. And that's why I say you have to put yourself first. That don't mean leave your baby on the corner. That don't mean leave your baby on the corner of Bissonnette and 59, okay?
Oh, God, not Bissonnette. No, you just had to throw out Bissonnette where the hoes be. And I hope ain't nobody leaving their baby where the hoes at.
Or on Greens Road at 45. That don't mean leave your baby on the corner, okay? It means that make sure that you're pouring into yourself and giving yourself what you need so that you can stand up and show up for your child and not be projecting your own pain, turmoil, and lack onto them. Because a lot of times these children are innocent.
Children are innocent.
You know what I'm saying? These
children
they're innocent and they didn't ask for this. At all.
No child asked to be here.
You can't take out on Lil Ray Ray who his daddy is. You chose to lay down and spread on wide for
and that's
for
why
Ray
I
Ray.
have an issue with people irresponsibly fucking.
Right.
That's not like, as much as I hate the government trying to tell women what to do with their bodies, my issue is why y'all irresponsibly fucking. That's the problem. Children do not ask to be here. I didn't ask to be here. Madam didn't ask to be here. But we're here. And guess what? We're here by no choice of our own. Yeah. And so when irresponsible people or people who are immature or emotionally underdeveloped and not mature decide to have children, or better yet, listen, you should only have children if you come to the realization on your own and you feel this shit and you know it in your head and in your heart, that your child is not going to be like an expectation or extension of you. Please be prepared to raise a individual because you just want to contribute. Don't have any expectations, because that child could come out to be the greatest person, the worst person, whatever. Just love them and don't have any expectations.
Yeah.
That's the best. I think when you get to that point.
Expect for your child to be who they are.
Exactly.
And who they want to be.
Who they want to be.
Not who you want them to be.
And realize that could look very different from who you are.
From your idea. And I think that, I really love that you said that, because I think that a lot of parents, they really do project their own ideas or idea onto their children. And that puts, there's a reason that the age range and age for anxiety and all this ADHD and social anxiety and depression and all that is getting younger and younger. There's a reason.
What you think the reason is?
Part of it is the household. On top of, we've talked about this before, and I previously said, the society pressures and stuff. But another part of it is the household. Because like you said, these people have children, and then the parent want Bobby to be or Brianna to be who they want them to be. Not who Brianna want to be or Bobby wants to be. And the minute that Brianna say, oh, I want to be a painter, I want to be an artist, they going to shoot it down. They going to try to push them into, and I've seen this, they try to push their child or their children into sports or something like that, and it's not what they want to do. But then they feel like they have to do it in order to keep the peace at home, to keep their mama or their daddy from being upset, or to keep their mama or their daddy's attention and love, because that's the only time that they show them love and attention.
But even before that, children have to learn that who they are or what they want to do on their own is not enough. So then they learn, oh, I should do this because my mom or my dad wants me to do it.
Well, they learn that when they express that. Example, like I said, let's say they grew up and they saw that they might be interested in music, and they say, oh, Mom, I want to learn how to play the piano. You're not playing the piano. You can choose a sport, though. So they just shot that down right there and told that child that you can't be what you think you want to be.
Yeah.
Because if they wanted to play sport, they would have came to you and said, Mom, I think I want to play a sport, not play music, right?
But then you also have to realize that a lot of times what people are good at and what they're passionate about don't always align. And parents can sometimes only see what you're good at. And the reason they only see what you're good at, because they think, okay, my child is good at this. Let me cultivate them as a child. And then when they're an adult, they'll be set. They'll be so good at this one thing that I've cultivated and trained them in. So I'm pointing out that even though the deliverance and the outcome is bad, the intention is good.
Is it really?
They're trying to give them something so that they always have a means to provide for themselves.
But it's fear-based.
Right, but it's just like, okay, yeah, you won't be hungry though.
You could be, because there's a difference from being good and passionate at something.
Sorry, I had to make sure they was getting close.
We see people all the time that's good at something and they only make it so far because they're just that. They're not hungry for it. Kobe, he was hungry for it. And y'all, I'm not a big Kobe fan, but you can't knock his craft, right? Kobe was hungry for it. Michael was hungry for it. You know?
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. Everybody knows that.
Exactly. And that's my point. So just because the parent is pushing it because they're good at it, don't mean that they're going to get drafted. because they're only good at it. It's
But
not
that's
their
what
passion.
they think. But that's what they think. They think, oh, I have the next Kobe or the next Michael.
right,
I just have
right.
to make them work hard enough.
And normally the child pushes back at some point.
Right, but that goes down to the point where if the parent is self-aware enough to be aware enough to see that the child doesn't really want to do this said thing. And that's when I say, like, if before you have a child, you need to be prepared to understand that the child is not an extension of you. They're going to be their own person. You might want the child to pick a sport.
I would add to that extension part that they are not they are not a piece of property, because that's really how they treat them and how they see them.
They think, oh, I supply you food and shelter. You have to do what I say.
Yeah.
And to an extent, if you wanted somebody to just do as you say and not like have their own opinions and things, you could get a dog. Don't have a child. A person with a psyche and a conscious and subconscious is going to have their own opinions and ideals about things. And just because you gave birth to them, you don't get to control that. You physically cannot control that.
True. You can't. And it's not fair, because how would you feel if it was done to you? And 9 times out of 10 it was done to them, and that's why they do it.
Right. And if you can't stand outside of yourself and question whether or not how you were raised was correct and the way you want to raise your children, you should not be having them.
That's a word.
I know the way that I was raised
a lot of people
was incorrect.
A lot of people shouldn't be having children, because they still shuffling around a closet full of demons that they won't even open the door to.
Sorry, somebody just waved at me.
And we all have our closet of demons or whatever.
Right.
So I'm not saying that we are, without that.
I'm not saying you have to be perfect to have children. But like Madam was saying, you should question yourself. If you be like, oh, I want to have children. Do I want to have them for the right reasons? Am I a self-aware enough a person to be having children?
That's a word, because a lot of people are not self-aware.
I can't be aware of how a child could potentially need if I'm not aware of my own needs, thoughts, and processes and shit like that. That's just the truth.
Baby. Yeah, I just do better, guys.
Please.
If you're not in a place to take care of yourself, and not just financially, but in all aspects, don't keep bringing children to the world. We already overpacked, okay? Not really, but we already overpacked.
No, really.
And it's not fair to these innocent children coming into the world with all these burdens on their shoulders and on their back, and they ain't even got a back yet. It's not fair to them. It wasn't fair to us.
And I want to highlight something. Don't have a child if you think, oh, I had such a terrible childhood. I should have a child because I know how to do it right.
I wanted to say that earlier.
Don't do that shit, please, because you already have given expectations on that child and you just don't realize it.
Yeah, you already started off wrong.
Personally, I know that if I had a child, it would be a very healing experience for me because I get to be what I wanted to have as a child, right? And I know that's what children need. But that's selfish as fuck. I'm gonna have a child because it would heal. It would heal me.
Yeah.
That's selfish. I'm not gonna have a child because it would be healing to me, because after I'm healed, what I'm gonna do with the baby? After I've given and proven that I am capable of love. No exactly. But that's what I'm getting at. People are fucking fickle, and I need them to realize that a child is a long-term commitment.
Yeah, it's not the answer to your loneliness. It's not the answer
to your pain. To your trauma.
It's not the answer. Exactly. And a lot of people think that even marriages, y'all that think that just like y'all think these threesomes is gonna fix your marriage, a baby not gonna fix them either.
Oh, you took it to the low.
It's
You
going
took it to hell.
I did. It's going to really test and show you two people in this marriage that something here ain't working. And we might need to go our separate ways instead of trying to force two puzzle pieces together that don't go together, okay? Okay. I ain't trying to be in y'all business like that, but I'm just saying what I be seeing out here in these streets, okay? I see a lot of people trying to take a puzzle piece that go in a corner to a puzzle piece that goes somewhere over here in the middle and put it together, and they don't go. Stop trying to force things that don't go together. That is misalignment. And it's misalignment for a reason. And you wonder why you're unhappy. You wonder why you got all this stagnancy in your life. You wonder why you keep wanting this and you just can't get to that level. There's a reason. You creating it in your life. 'Cause he's so fine. She got a big booty.
Absolutely.
We known each other since ninth grade. And your point, who you was in ninth grade ain't who you is at 39. 9 times out of 10. That's you done been 4 different people since ninth grade. Y'all might not mesh then. That's why you have seasons. You meet people for a reason, a season, and very few for a lifetime. And a season could be a year. A season could be 10 years. A season could be
long season.
Yeah, well, until you learn whatever contract y'all got together, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, your season might be till you die with that person. Your season might just be till you 30 with that person. I'm just saying, it just because it's been 5 years and year 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, another 5 years it still ain't working and y'all trying to make it work. Y'all have done what y'all needed to do together. Stop trying to force something.
Not all
Obviously, not all the time. What?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
Like, some lessons, and people get off track because we're talking about bringing in how, like, innocent lives are harmed because of people who think they're so in love that they should have children, right? Or they accidentally have children.
Right.
No.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, kind of when we first started off writing, how you were saying who the person that you met in 2020 and let's say 2021, you didn't even recognize them, or you just realized that we don't, well, because that's where you were then. But in a year you grew or you evolved. Perhaps they stayed where they was. And so of course it don't look right. It don't feel right. It's not meshing anymore. It's not coming together. That's what I mean.
So when people
So one person in who was it? Quee, I was telling us about, and somebody, whatever, one situation. At one point, they was on the same track. She's still on the same journey, but then all of a sudden, this person started diverting to a whole nother path. So they were it no longer meshed.
And so, like, that's when people grow apart.
Exactly, and that's my whole point in everything that I just said. When you grow apart, stop trying to make it work.
But that's the thing, though. If you realize that something is not good for you, and this is hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
When you realize that something or someone is not good for you, don't be present.
Or even when you realize that it no longer serves you. I think that there's a lot of what's the word? There's a lot of hesitancy and apprehension of admitting and acknowledging, like, yo, this really don't serve me anymore. For the simple fact of what I just said, oh, well, I've been with him for 5 years, or I've been with him for 7 years. Okay. But if you've evolved and they haven't, naturally you outgrow that person, or vice versa. They outgrow you, whatever. Or maybe y'all both have grown, but you've decided that you want totally different things now.
Totally different things.
And that's okay. But it's being honest with yourself first and then being honest with each other. Like, we ain't got no bad blood. We're on two different paths. Or we want different things. Or where I'm at right now it doesn't align with where you at or where you want to be. So on and so forth. It's just, I'm just saying, be honest with yourselves. Be realistic with yourselves. Stop trying to make two pieces fit that don't fit. It is okay. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't mean that your efforts failed. It doesn't mean that your relationship failed or you failed in the relationship, whatever kind of relationship that it is. It doesn't mean that it was a failure. That's really the key highlight word there, because that's essentially what people kind of reverted to, like, oh, well, I'm gonna feel like I failed or my relationship failed if I leave or if I quit this job or if I stop doing this or that. No, it doesn't mean that you failed that thing or that person or that place. You grew out of it. You change. You have the right to change your mind.
Anything that costs you your peace costs you too much.
Right.
If you grow into a person, let's just say, me and Madam, we go together.
Real bad.
Real bad. Right? And let's just say we growing. We going in two opposite directions. Mm-hmm. I'm learning about myself. I'm trying to make sure I don't repeat the same mistakes.
Sure.
And you could be on some shit like, I'm just trying to make sure I got enough and I can live a life and set up a legacy. Them two different.
That's two different.
Them two different paths.
Yeah.
That don't mean we don't love each other and we don't have good intentions. Mm-hmm. You could want the absolute best for me, but the absolute best for me is not going to happen if I'm with you.
Exactly. And it would 9 times out of 10
and
create
that's just
stagnancy in your life.
And that's just a good, peaceful example where we both have good intentions for our lives, but different intentions for our lives. Mm-hmm. And so that means we shouldn't be together. And that's hard.
It's hard. It's very hard.
If we come
because
together,
you don't want to feel like you're losing something and that you failed at something.
I don't care. And this is why I'm so good at being by myself, but this is also why it takes me a long time to walk away. Mm-hmm. I'm very good at meeting people where they at, and I will love you regardless of where you at, because I think everybody is deserving of love, right?
Sure.
But also, what are we doing? Like, I'm so good at being by myself. I'm gonna say that I'm not scared to die alone because I've experienced love. I may not have experienced the type of, oh, I'm in love shit, you know? Mm-hmm. But I've experienced love from friends, family, people. I'm not scared to die alone. When you're not scared to die alone, you really... And I think this is where the biggest divide come in between people. I could be by myself and not be stressed, not be crying, not be worried.
Right.
Or I could be with you and say that I'm with somebody.
Just to say I'm with you.
And I'm anxious as fuck. I'm neurotic. I can't trust you. Which one of those situations is more peaceful?
I tell my mom that all the time.
The situation in which I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. And I am perfectly fine being by myself.
But most people are not.
I am sufficient.
Scared. Man, so many people are scared of the monsters in the closet.
I'm going to eat whether somebody is with me or not. Why? Because I'm hungry. Because I have to eat.
And then also consider not just people being scared of the monsters in the closet, but they don't know how to fish for themselves. See, you can go out and know how to fish for yourself.
1,000%.
You don't have to call me and say, hey, man, I'm hungry. And I'd be like, all right, hold on. Here you go. I'll give you 10 fish so you can last 10 days, right? Most people can't go out and fish for themselves.
And people who can't fish for themselves, when you stay in relationships because you have to, that's what really breaks my heart. Mm-hmm. Because you know better, but you can't do better. You know something is wrong, but what is wrong is what's keeping you alive. Yeah, I'm with this.
I don't know if I would agree with saying that they can't do better. They might they might not be able to do better right in that moment, but they can take the first step and start doing something different.
I know some people can't do better at that time. And I know how hopeless that feels. Helpless and hopeless that feels.
At that time, I get it. But I would require them, like, okay, yeah, at this exact moment, this is where you at, this is what it is. However, I need to, you need to start making some kind of movement, a start, a beginning to being able to do something for yourself. Because everybody is able in some way, but you have to start somewhere. It could be as simple as talking to somebody and gaining information.
I would even say that, but those are both like severe edge cases, which most people are not in. Most people are in a situation where they can do something.
For sure.
And
they just don't.
Because it's more convenient.
Convenience, for sure. But a lot of it is fear.
Financial abuse is a real thing where people, like, money makes the world go round. And if you don't have money, like, taking someone's means away to provide for themselves, and that's why I say I feel bad for people who are in situations that they can't do anything. You could be working and not have access to a means to provide for yourself because someone has taken away the means to provide for yourself. I feel bad for people in those situations, especially.
I mean, but even in that, it's something you can do. It ain't gonna be easy. That I can guarantee. It ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be a big challenge, but there is something that you can do. Even if the first step is I have to leave this person, okay.
Sometimes
that's not
that
ideal.
Person puts them in a physical danger, their life.
Understood. And that's why I'm going to say it then boils down to what is most important to you.
Fair.
Right? Me personally, if that meant, if leaving meant that I had to go, if the only place I had to go was a shelter for however long, so that I can start to begin to regain my independence, that's me making that first step to make it happen for myself. And not allowing the restriction and the confinement that and fear that somebody done put over my life. Because that's really all it is. Yeah, they taking your check and they didn't conditioned your mind that, yeah, if you ever leave me or try to leave me, you ain't gonna have nothing. You ain't gonna be able to go nowhere. You ain't gonna be able to, whatever.
You're saying it in that tone, but
that
some
sucks.
people cannot, they do not know that there are other options. So they feel like they don't have any.
And that's why I said earlier, there are options. There's always something that you can do.
Some people don't know that. And it's the people who don't know that who need to know that the most.
And that's why I'm saying it. So that they know that there's something that you can do. That's what I said. For the people that don't know, there is something that you can do, even if it's a small step.
It's gonna
But you have to make that small step for you. And I think one of the biggest hills to overcome with making that small step is the fear of it, because abusers are able to be successful abusers because they know how to instill fear in someone. Once you can instill fear in someone, you have control over their mind. Their body gonna follow because you got their mind. You got their mind, you broken down their spirit, their body gonna do whatever you want. It's basically a robot to you at that point, you know?
And that goes further into like
so
abuse and the effects of narcissism and abuse and psychological and even like spiritual and mental abuse too. And that's not what this episode necessarily about, but we wanted to just paint the point that sometimes you have the means to get up and go. Sometimes you don't have the means to get up and go and leave a bad situation.
Right.
Sometimes you don't have the physical or psychological means. And sometimes you're just so deeply rooted in ignorance that you don't know any other way out.
And if that's the case, I hope that you see this and it gives you some encouragement and some enlightenment to know that there is other ways out and that there is some support out there, you know, and that you ain't alone. You ain't alone and you ain't crazy. You seeing what you seeing, you know. So anyway, something else that they brought up in this group really be having my mind going. They brought up this whole 50-50 thing. And I know we've hit on this at one point previously. And I'm like, why is this still a conversation?
Because what works for one person does not work for everybody.
Exactly.
And that's why it's still a conversation. It's going to always be a conversation. Because even if we figure out what the majority likes, majority rules but minority rights, there's always going to be people who disagree, go against the grain, and find peace in going against the grain. 100%, that's fine. But for me and mine,
As for my house,
we
gon' praise the Lord.
I ain't going 50-50 with no nigga. Because you know what? I got 100% of the peace, and I pay 100% of the bills in a big-ass house that I live in 100% of the time by my motherfucking self. And if we living together, that means that there is an exchange of some sort. And personally, myself, and I believe in gender roles, right? I'm going to go out and get it. Right? And I'm going to get the money because I don't believe in not having my own, right? But when it comes to gender roles, if I'm living with a man, if we're cohabitating together, you pay. I don't want to. And if I'm going to be paying, I'm going to be living by myself. Because if we're living together, I'm going to be taking care of you. Because that's who I am. That's who I am as a person. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to take care of you.
And that's the conversation that you would have with your person, and that is what y'all would agree on. And that might not work for everybody. It might work for the majority, like you said. So that's why I don't understand why the 50-50 is a whole... Baby, if we 50-50, we're roommates.
That's how I see it. That's how you see it. But there's some people out there, there are stay-at-home husbands. And that's fine. Yeah. That is 100% fine. If that works...
Then it works for you.
That works. I have a lot of value in gender roles that are not misogynistic. Right?
Like what?
If it's a man's job to primarily provide... I'm a big person. Like I always say this. I need somebody to watch my six. If you're primarily providing, I'm going to watch your six. Meaning, I'm going to have something saved up in the event that you get sick, layoffs happen. That's what having your six means, right?
Yes.
In my eyes, that means, oh, you primarily taking care of stuff, but your woman can hold it down if she has to. But you're not going to ask her to if she don't got to.
Exactly. Agreed.
I don't want to be the primary person. I like cooking. I'm a damn good cook. I want to be at home. I want my man coming home and be like, babe, I know you made something good today. I'd be like, I did. I did.
And see, that goes into you and your person sitting down and being clear about your values. Because that's something that you value. I would hope that that is also something that your guy values too. So that way it's not a surprise or it's not an expectation. It's just something that you like to do and you care to do so that you do it, right?
And that's absolutely fine, even if we love each other and we don't agree. You want to know why? Because I can go back to my house and pay all of my rent and you can come over once or twice a week, and I can make you a meal and cater to you and love on you and pour and nurture into you 2 days a week.
But then the question would be, how long do you keep doing that?
That's fine. I'm going to keep doing it and keep paying my bills, because that means
I'm saying,
that the benefits,
how long do you keep doing that until, like, eventually that gets old, it gets tired, right?
That's the thing, though. We have a healthy relationship. Healthy don't get old and tired, or it may get old and tired, but it never goes unappreciated.
So you wouldn't live together if your values don't align, or majority of your values don't align, I should say.
Why would we do that?
So then how could the relationship be healthy if your values don't align? I'm speaking of romantic relationship, y'all, not friendship, partnership, business, or whatever. A romantic relationship. What would be the point in us being in a romantic relationship if our values
Everybody has options
aren't
now.
aligning?
And I'm going to speak about everybody has options now, and I'm saying that because ideally I want to be in a relationship because I want to be there, not because I have to be there.
Sure.
Right? Not interdependency and not financial interdependency either. Meaning that I can stand on my own by myself, you can stand on your own by yourself, but when we come together,
We are a force.
we can make something even better than what either of us could have individually. Right? And that's what needs to be worth me giving up my independence. That's what needs to be worth him sacrificing things, what we can create together. If us coming together doesn't create anything, what I feel is better than what I have on my own, or what you feel is better than on your own, for one, we don't need to be together. And then two, like I said, in this day and age, times are different, and I want to highlight that, right? I could be completely self-sufficient and be in a loving relationship and still take care of myself. The end all be all is not for us to cohabitate together.
What is the end all be all?
The end all be all is for us to have a healthy relationship and be happy.
So I guess it really just boils down to what it is that you want and see for yourself.
Of us
In the
being
future.
happy looks like us living separately, but we see each other 3 days a week and we are present and happy and whole individuals. That's a successful relationship
For you.
for you. If we both have the goal, it's like, hey, let's just live separately until we're 1000% sure about each other. Okay, once we get to that point, we're supposed to be together then. We're supposed to cohabitate if that's a common goal. I'm not sure I
So
want to
that means
cohabitate
you're
with anybody full time. If I got to see my man 4 or 5 times a week and I get 2-3 nights to myself, I'm happy.
yeah.
If we love each other, if we do get to live together, but we still have like, hey, we're on Sunday through Wednesday. But Thursday and Friday, we have our individual time. We go do our thing or whatever. I'm fine with that too. But we still get to occupy space. What I'm saying is relationships are not easy, and people be trying to be like, oh, every relationship needs to look the same. I want every relationship to look different as long as it looks healthy.
I don't care about how it looks. I care about what it actually is.
And that's what I mean by looks.
Yeah.
Because if something looks healthy, chances are it is healthy. It should be. So if it is healthy, I don't give a fuck. It can look however it wants, as long as it's healthy. That's just where I stand.
Yeah. As long as the relationship actually is healthy and it aligns with your core values and it works for you personally,
God damn.
then great. But if you're in the relationship and it's so-called healthy, but it ain't really what you would want it to be, is not really aligning with majority of your values, I don't care how healthy it is, you still need to reevaluate it. Because at that point, you kind of just in it, and eventually it's going to crumble because you're going to feel like you're not fulfilled in where you
Thank you.
and where you Sorry, y'all. It was somebody outside at the window.
He a
had on
fan, he a fan.
He had on a dope shirt too.
He a fan. Freaky. Sorry,
But
I don't know
yeah,
nothing about that.
Even if it is so-called healthy and majority of your values don't align with each other, it's still going to crumble because you're going to, at some point, somebody's going to feel a divide or a gap. Even if y'all don't talk about the gap, you will eventually find out that there is a gap. And that's going to be an issue in itself. So the alignment is always important. And I feel like that's really what gauges the health of a relationship, the alignment. But anyway, guys, for this next half hour, we're going to get into our substance game segments. Thank God they cut this air on. I was getting hot.
Girl, I'm sweating like in places that's not my face. And I'm grateful because I did my makeup. But like,
That's probably why you're not sweating, huh?
probably like, because most of the time, like if I don't sweat nowhere else, if you
It's
like a
gonna be
little
right
bit
there.
of sweat
On
right
that
here, and
hairline.
it's not.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Okay, so I'll go first.
Okay. Oh, okay. Before we get started, let's caveat. I have a really good memory. So if we have any cards that surfaced from the episode
They're right
that
here.
Oh, you already pulled them out? Mm-hmm. Perfect.
The way I put them in last time, I put this card to split them, and I put them the opposite way so I would know.
Because I was about to say, we could just skip over anything we answered already. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So this is a game called Substance. You can definitely find it online, Google, TikTok, all of that if you want to
And
check
probably
it out,
Target.
whatever. I don't know if it's in the stores yet, but definitely you can find it online. So I already shuffled. This is a card of vulnerability. It says, what are your thoughts on what happens after death?
I answered that one last time.
You did?
I did.
I don't remember you answering
I did. I did. Remember, I was talking about seed of the soul and soul's evolution and how after we die, like, we could have these multiple times to get it right, and that's what Jesus meant by like, or that's what John 3:16 meant, like, hey, by everlasting life, like giving you multiple chances to get it right, and if you keep coming back, that means you haven't gotten it right yet.
Yeah,
So we
that's
did talk about
reincarnation.
that.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. So the next one is, who is the one person that has consistently been there for you? That's interesting. Is this in the realm of family, friends? What do you think? How should I answer this?
You answering or I'm answering?
I'm answering it.
You're
But I'm
answering
trying to
it.
figure out, do I answer that just blood, like relatives, or friends, or I'm gonna answer it with who came to mind first.
Okay, who came to
And
mind
she
first?
probably came to mind first because today is her birthday. My sister from another mister, as us colored folks say. My sister from another mister. My bestie Danielle.
Okay.
Happy birthday. Shout out to you, sister. Big D, not the little one, okay?
Big D.
She got them letters behind her name now. Girls graduated and all of that. Go ahead. But
Wait, Danielle from Victory?
she didn't go to Victory. She
Okay,
went to
I was about to
Carver.
say.
But but yeah, I feel like through all my hardships, since we've been best friends since 5th grade, she's literally been there. For sure.
Okay.
And I say that too because this is before I moved back home, and even being home now, here lately I've seen her every week or talked to her several times a week, but normally we don't talk every week or anything like that. But when we do talk, we literally just pick back up as if we were
Like
just
no
talking
time.
an hour ago.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no time passed between.
Yes. That's how the best of friendships are supposed to work.
Yeah. And I appreciate that like similar or likewise to you. Like y'all don't, and I mean if she do feel some type of way, she ain't never told me, but y'all don't feel no type of way about who I am as a person. Like I'm not necessarily a clingy person that, or a high maintenance friend or whatever that you gotta talk to every single day, all day. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not one that you necessarily gotta see every single day.
To say like, I'm close to this person, or this person is near and dear to my heart.
Or we always gotta go to a $high restaurant or something. Or, I'm just saying.
How many times you done came and sat on my couch?
Girl, and that's why I'm just throwing out examples, right?
Shit, my ass can cook. I will make some food at the house.
Right.
I am the $high restaurant. Just like I'm the rich nigga. Period.
And so I just appreciate that about her, like I do you, that I could just be. And it ain't no shade. It ain't no
we talk a lot about
it ain't no
relationships.
side eye.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no like,
you are so loved.
I ain't want to know that. It's just like, okay, girl, and then what happened? And it don't matter what it is. It's almost like there's no such thing as TMI.
You are loved and accepted.
Yeah.
It's just how you are.
Acceptance. That's the
and
word
you
I was
feel
looking
that.
for.
And the people you feel that with are the people who become your people.
Yeah, your tribe. For sure. Shout out to you for
I
being
love
part
you.
of the best tribe. All right,
girl,
your
you
turn.
did not just give me that 2-pack church hug thing. Y'all, when you Madam loved me. She loved me real bad. I don't know why she be trying to act like she don't love me like that on this podcast, because I would get up here and give her a bear hug like while she's sitting down over there. I don't know why she cutting her eyes at me, because I would do it. She did me like this, like we don't know each other, like we don't
Pull this
go
card
together.
before I have to show you.
It's your turn to ask me a question.
Well, pick the card.
I pulled a card. I thought you pulled a card.
Okay. What do you think people seek validation from others? I mean, no, why? I'm sorry. Why do you think people seek validation from others?
At the core?
I guess so.
At the core, because nobody wants to die alone. People want to be liked. But I've said that before.
And accepted.
Yes. And people who really love you, you could tell them that you did the most heinous thing. And they will still love you. Usually that's only God. Usually. But there are some people who love you unconditionally. It's just not going to be many. I think everybody
and I think that's a good thing.
Yes. I think everybody comes into the world and they might not even realize it when they experience it. But they're going to experience one person or one
real good
unconditional love.
And I think it's a blessing if you come across one and have one for life. I know people be like, "Oh, I wish I had more." If you have one, that in itself, you are 1,000 and million times blessed.
And we're going to save this for a different episode. But a lot of people think that the person that unconditionally loves them is their mother. And a lot of times,
your mic don't catch on fire.
I know, a lot of times it just ain't. But we'll say that for another
Sometimes it ain't your mama or your daddy that unconditionally love you. A lot of times it's not. And a lot of times it's not your blood relatives that care about you or show up for you. Most of the time it's a stranger.
And this is also going to be for another episode. But the people that you love or that you love the most, or just because you love them, like there's no expectation or return. You could love somebody so much and they absolutely never return it.
Oh, I know that for a fact.
Some people don't know.
They know. They just don't want to admit it or acknowledge it.
Or they don't want to
or
accept it. That's what it really is, acceptance.
Yeah, acceptance. Acceptance is a real big thing, y'all. And even with self-acceptance, you know. And this is what I mean when I said earlier, people lie to themselves all day. Knowingly. Knowingly will lie to themselves. I don't want to do another vulnerability. We can do an intimacy one. Intimacy. What message would you tell your favorite person? I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite person, to be very honest.
You don't think you have a favorite person?
Well, my favorite person has passed on. So.
You know what? It's funny you said that, because in my head, I was like, you do have a favorite person, right? But then when you said your favorite person has passed on, I realized that the person who's your favorite and who you give the most love to are not the same.
Correct.
They are not the same. Because your favorite person could be the person that you give the most love to and who also gives love back to you.
Yes.
But for a second, I got the definitions fucked up. I was thinking
See how they work?
that who you love must be your favorite, who you love the most,
No.
or who you give the most love to.
Yeah, they don't go both
must
ways.
be your favorite, and that's not the fact. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Because I think who you give the most love to needs the most love, but it's not because they're your favorite.
Right. So your they don't go both ways. So your favorite person could also be the person that you love, but who you love does not necessarily have to be your favorite person. Yeah. But okay, yeah, my eyes are getting watery.
What would you like to tell your grandfather? What would you like to tell Mr. Clarence? Could be anything. It don't have to be something profound. It could be silly. Anything.
Your wife is driving me crazy. I mean, I would tell him that I love him, but
He know that.
he would tell me I know.
He know that.
He would tell me, I know you do. You the only one that do. That's what he used to say.
That's what he used to tell you.
I remember when he was in the hospital and he was like, and everybody was there. And he was like, they don't love me like you love me. They just say they do. All their little feelings was hurt. Yeah. But I felt what he was saying. I understand what he was saying.
But you know that what that means, right? That out of everybody, there was never a shadow of doubt whether you loved him or not.
And it was never a shadow of doubt whether he loved me or not. And that was proven even at his funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. I all the people that got up to speak, which it was only supposed to be 3, but it was like 10.
Like, man, everybody else questionable. You?
But I said this to say, everybody that got up to speak, every last one of them, their whole speech was about how much he loved me. It wasn't about how he was a good carpenter or he was a good, handyman or he was a good worker or he was the greatest head deacon and all that. It wasn't, or how he had the best prayers. It wasn't none of that. It was, young lady, I don't know who you are. I've never met you a day in my life, but I feel like I've known you my whole life because you was always on his tongue. And he was so proud of you. Mm-hmm. And you were the apple of his eye, and he loved him some you. Mm-hmm. That was, not verbatim, but that was what everybody that got up there and spoke said.
Does it provide any solace to your heart knowing that your favorite person you were also his favorite person.
I knew I was his favorite person.
I know that. But like in passing and hearing it, does it provide you any solace to hear it from other people? To be like, damn, like I knew I was special.
At the time, like now or at the time that I was hearing it?
Both.
At the time that I was hearing it, it made me tear up even worse. Mm-hmm. I guess they thought it was gonna, put a smile on my face, but baby, it broke me down. It broke me down. But now, it does bring a smile to my heart for sure. It does, make me all warm and fuzzy inside. But it does make my eyes water too. So it's a different type of acceptance now than it was then. So, yeah. Okay. Dun, 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 dun.
A mind fuck?
Yes. Tell the story of the best day of your life.
I can't tell a story that ain't happened yet.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Because I don't want people to hear me say that and think, oh, this ungrateful bitch. Like, I want to preface it. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I live for other people or correcting what their misconceptions, but I want to say that I feel like God has smiled on me my entire life, and not to say that I'm not troubled, because I'm deeply troubled. But that's just to say that the things that God has blessed me with or has smiled on me outweigh all of my troubles.
Of course.
Right?
Likewise.
So to say that to tell the story of the best day of my life, I haven't lived it yet. Because God hasn't given it to me yet. I have a long, long life ahead of me. In the years that you know how old I am. In my years compared to all the life I have left.
You haven't had a good day so far.
I've had great days. I've had amazing days. But to say that I've had my best day.
But what it's saying is, thus far.
To say that I've had my best day?
Thus far. If you died tonight, what day would you say was your best day of your life so far? That's what it's asking.
I don't know if this is sad or depressing, but no day really stands out.
Okay. And that's okay. That means you got some memories to make.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't lived the best day of my life yet. That's why I can't speak to it.
Okay.
God is not done smiling on me and like cheesing hard on me. Like, I know the best days are just like yet to come.
All right. What has been your biggest reality check moment in life? Ooh.
That's for you.
Yeah. I was in a relationship.
Well, give me the code name.
When I was with Demon Spawn, right? Before it got as bad as it got, I realized
like Demon Spawn.
No one does. I realized literally no one does. I realized at one point before everything got terrible, as bad as it had gotten, the way that I was feeling, it made me think back to the previous relationship before Demon Spawn with Remote Control, right? And I was like, man, I wonder if this is how they felt when they were saying that, I don't know, just throw something out there. I wasn't giving them enough attention. I'm not saying that's exactly what it was, but I'm just making an example. And so the reality check was kind of like, it all came full circle to me. Like, what you put out, you're going to eventually get back, and it don't. And I knew this, but it's like it hit different when you see it firsthand. And so what I was saying was, what you put out there, it'll come back to you, whether it's from that person, that space, that area, but it's gonna come back some way, somehow. And it made me also accept and realize that with my relationship with remote control, yes, it made me realize how true it is that it takes two to tango, and that you can't always, you can't just say, oh, it was just that person and it was that person's fault. No, you can't. Because nobody's perfect. Not saying that I thought that or felt that I was perfect, but it showed me, like, no, you flawed too. You know, like, yeah, you wasn't necessarily the reason why y'all not together no more, or you wasn't the one that was abusive. However, you were emotionally kind of shut off sometimes, or you weren't always compromising, you know, that it showed me those types of things, you know, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see how that would make my partner feel, you know. So that was like the reality check or whatever. That, like I said, it came full circle, you know. So what were you going to ask me?
Do you think, because you said realizing, you said your biggest reality check was realizing you reap what you sow. Did that make you more aware of your own intentions?
Intentions with Demon Spawn or previously too?
Intentions with anybody. Like just having that thought in your head of, it doesn't matter the most innocent or the most conniving intention that I have. All of that's going to come back to me.
I feel like I was always aware. I've always been very aware of that. But in a way, it did make me hone in on it even more. And I think that's what helped me, like with Demon Spawn, that's what helped me kind of get through all of that, was
knowing that you had
that I had good intentions, and those good intentions would be reciprocated back to me, but just not through them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you're giving love from a genuine place, I think even if you're giving it to the wrong person, you're gonna get it back.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. And I think that goes for anything, not even just relationships.
A lot of people don't know this. The reality check that you had of you reap what you sow. They think as long as the world doesn't know, or who I want to know doesn't know. But there are powers, and of course God sees everything, and God knows every intention.
Omnipresent, even the ones that you don't speak.
Even the ones that you don't speak. So,
and that's why you have to be intentional with your thoughts.
And that's why I think some people are genuinely shielded by their intention. It's a difference when you know, but when your intent is so good that you just act off of that, I can see why some people are like pardoned or, you know, forgiven.
And it's also when you have when you have good intentions and whatnot, I tell people you ain't gotta seek vengeance, because when your heart is pure and your heart is good and you doing it with good intentions or whatever, in innocent intentions, it's already taken care of on the other side. You might not be witness to it, but it's already taken care of. At that point, it's just your responsibility to disconnect yourself,
right? So
that what needs to be done, can be done, and you not get caught up in the crossfire of it. And that's why you can't say or try to save everybody from certain things, because you might be coming in between their karma. And now you done got caught up in the crossfire. And then and that's when you get to saying, man, I should have never did that. I should have left them where they did. Ain't nobody tell you to go over there doing all that anyway. Sometimes you do just need to mind your business.
You can have compassion, but your compassion is not going to save that person from their
Stop
karma.
being Captain Save a Hoe. Save yourself first.
Your compassion is good. Your compassion is a confirmation that you have empathy. Because nobody wants, like, no normal person wants to see somebody that they love be in pain, right? Mm-hmm. So you wanting to help them. But I learned that the hard way. I was really trying to help somebody who was in a bad spot, and karma just was determined to have their way with them.
Yeah.
And I had to get the fuck up out the way. Because it wasn't my responsibility to help that person. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to because I loved them. Because I had empathy. Because I'm considerate.
And I think that if you love someone so much, you have to love them to let them go.
Yeah, you can. But, like, you can let them go in the sense like, hey, you have no power over my life. But sometimes it still just hurts you to see them in pain. And you want to help them.
Yeah, but if there's nothing that you can do, especially if they've put themselves in that position, you have to love them enough to say, okay, if I come in here and try to keep saving them, I'm doing them an injustice. And I'm hurting myself in the process of trying to do this injustice of quote unquote saving them. So then you really boil back down to why am I wanting to help them so much? Is it really for them, or is it something deep within me subconsciously? And that is a very blurry line that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge or talk about. Because it takes time to really sit down and think about that. Like, really, really think down to the root of why you're trying to do it. Now, just thinking about it right now, of course you're going to say, oh, I love them. I love them. Yeah, but because if everything is going wrong and you keep trying to help them to the point it's a detriment to you, why are you really doing this?
And do you want to know what happened when that was happening to me? Mm-hmm. I was making myself sick trying to help somebody.
You see what I'm saying?
I was making myself sick trying to help somebody that I love because they were suffering. And the message that was like revealed to me, and it could not have been more divine the way that it happened. God was like, they have to pay for things that you don't know about.
And that's what I meant about interrupting other people's karma. We can't, because we can't be in every room at every moment.
Because in my head, I'm like, I know they've done wrong. I've seen them do wrong, but
but they got to live that out.
And I'm like, maybe they've suffered enough. Mm-hmm. And God's like, they did some shit you don't know about.
Yeah.
No.
And that's not up to you to determine.
Right. Because
you'll know
reality check.
Right. And you'll know if it's divinely orchestrated for you to step in and help that person. Because when you do,
it'll work.
It will work. It'll be fairly smooth. It won't be getting knocked upside the head over and over and over every time.
Keep running into brick walls.
Yeah. There's a reason. And that's when you have to be honest with yourself and take a step back, and you have to evaluate yourself, because am I wanting to help this person so bad and so much because I'm coming from an unhealed place and know how much I've hurt and how I would have wanted that help or needed that help back then, because of course we done been through some things, and obviously, you know what I'm saying?
Victims are not without fault though.
Thinking that, oh, well, let me stand in the brink for this person because I don't have nobody stand in the brink for me. Nah. You know, that's not going to heal you by standing in the brink for them. You still gotta deal with whatever your situation is. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm like, we really have to sit down and think. And that even goes into people pleasing. People, that is the root of people pleasing right there.
Yeah.
And it can be, and you know how chronic it can be.
I
Unfortunately.
understand how chronic.
Likewise.
overstand.
Likewise.
Understand and overstand.
Personally.
Yeah.
For myself, I'm saying,
Personally.
you know. So, you know, I'm just saying we got to be honest. Maybe I'm going to title this episode that. let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Because baby,
Let's be
we
honest.
just around here lying to ourselves, and I think people need more mirrors in their house.
got everything but
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Okay, is it your turn? We got one more.
Yes, it's gonna be the
Okay.
last one. We gonna end it out.
Does the number of past partners matter to you? I feel like you've answered this before, but not from this game, but we've just talked about it.
Okay, so let's do a different question because
Okay.
another intimacy, so that fits.
Right. What is your favorite quality about yourself?
I've answered that one
I feel like
too.
you've answered that too.
Okay.
Not from the game, but
But I did answer that on the last time. My ability to meet people where they at, like, and love people where they at.
what's one thing you would say to a person who broke your heart? And it don't necessarily have to be romantic. It could be anybody that's broken your heart.
That is so.
I love this for you.
I fucking love this question. And I'm not saying I love this question so much, but I love this question because so many people have broken my heart. And I'm not saying that like, oh my God, I'm a victim. I know I have broken people's hearts too, right? I'm saying that like, oh my God, I have lived so much and have loved so much that it's
I have
almost
lived
a
in love.
privilege to have had my heart broken. But what I would say to it comes back to one of either it's coming back to a parental and a intimate love. What I would say to both of the people that have broken my heart from that perspective is that I forgive you.
Oh, look at them, baby. Don't look at me. She got something to say to y'all.
I forgive you, and I love you still. And I hope that if you were able to, if I had hurt you, that you would be able to love and forgive me as well. I see, and even the things that I don't see that have contributed to the way that you are and who you are, God sees it, and God loves you. I love you, and I forgive you too. Because you are a person first, and whatever you were to me, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth, or last, you are a person first. And I hope you have the same outlook on me for the people who I've harmed unintentionally.
And if you don't, F it. Or it's going to F you. One way or the other.
F it or it's on. Bro, that's a word. Fuck it or it's gonna fuck you.
Yeah. F it before it F you. Like, I don't.
That is the.
What else you going to do?
That's
You
one of the best
Listen,
things
you
I
know-
have ever heard in my life.
You know what I say.
F it or before it F's you.
Yeah, because you know what I'm going to say. What you going to do? Barbecue or mildew, baby? What you going to do? Is you going to barbecue or is you going to mildew? One of the two.
Fuck it.
Before it.
Fucks you.
Period.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's gonna be my new saying
Is it?
up until 2025.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Fuck it before it fucks you. In
It's
another
been a
way,
silent motto.
you can
forever
say
for
it.
me.
Detach yourself from it while you still have the power of detachment.
Exactly. Any closing words?
I'm so
Folks.
grateful to be able to do this with you.
Oh,
I am. And I love you.
do you?
So much.
How much?
So much.
Quantify it.
I can't. It's immeasurable. It's infinite. It's infinite squared.
How much is infinity?
It's infinite. It's infinity cubed.
Not cubed. Oh, that's a lot. That's juicy.
And I did infinity cubed because I like 3 and 9s.
I know. 3, 6, 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? Like, my life path is a 9. The nigga I'm stuck on is a 6.
Ooh.
I'm getting my tattoo on 9/27.
A 9.
27 though. I'm a perfect fucking cube. I'm actually getting 3 to the 3rd power tattooed right here on September 27th. That's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
Going on this finger.
Maybe I'll go with you.
Okay.
We'll
I think
see.
the 27th is a Friday, so.
Even better. A little tattoo therapy.
Yes.
I haven't been to the tattoo shop in quite some time.
We should get something. We should go
I
together.
haven't been since 2015. It's been almost 10
That's a
years.
problem.
Yep.
And the last time I went in 22. So,
Girl, that was like
years.
yesterday.
Yep, and it's time to get something else on the next finger.
Oh Lord. Hopefully it's not a middle finger.
Oh no, it is. We like to be symmetrical. I have a tattoo on the left middle finger, and it's time to get one on the right middle finger. Cause how many times can you say you got flipped off by somebody who had characters on their fingers? You can't.
On that note,
Really, you can't. How many times do you can say I got flipped off and that person had an interesting middle finger?
it's
Like-
getting crazy. All right,
I
guys.
have wrinkly knuckles, but you're gonna be like,
Oh,
that
Lord.
bitch had a nice finger tat on both middle fingers. Like, the knuckles, sus, wrinkly. The tattoo, fucking fire.
You done? Mm-hmm. All right. We appreciate y'all for tuning in with us today and hanging out. It's been a lovely time. Glad to be back in action.
Alice.
Catching up with you guys. Please tune in. Let us know. Tap in the comments, social medias, all the aboves.
Y'all see how I lovingly caress her back, and she gave me
It's messing up
she
my
gave me
words.
this.
It's
We go together.
Let us know what y'all think and how y'all feeling down in the comments, okay? Because she done messed up my whole outro. We want to hear from you. Tap in with us. Thank you for supporting us. Make sure that you like and you subscribe to the podcast. Share it with your people, your friends, your cousins, your mama, them.
You do the other part.
And
so you can be.
there you go.
Dang,
you can follow me.
The rum is blocking it. Okay, we gotta do it again.
There we go, because she's not going to let it go. Yes. You can follow me on Instagram, all the socials really, at Madam Midheaven. You can follow Alice on that's 2 Y's, call me Alice on Instagram. Again, thank you for tuning in for Grit and Grace podcast, where we have raw and soulful conversations.
And hold the salmonella.
We're going to see y'all next time.
Bye. Holding the salmonella so we don't have to hold our assholes on the way to the toilet.
Lord,
Keep it raw, but not too raw. She can never really be done with.